Hey guys, welcome back. So in the next few lessons, we are going to work on a portfolio. Let's imagine we are building our portfolio, or you work for some digital agency and you need to bring in the projects that you've been part of or your company's been part of, and you want to build sort of a portfolio site where you can list out different projects, right? Now, obviously I have come up with some very fictitious column names. Don't pay any attention to that. What you should be paying attention to is how we will work with this custom post type and bring in the data in the context of Sage itself, right? Okay, so in this sort of fictitious scenario, we are building a portfolio site. We need to have a way in the backend where we can easily add any new projects that we've finished and we've deployed, and these are the fields that we need to list out. So we need to specify the name of the company, case study, excerpt, again depends if you want to or if you don't, solution or delivery, image. But because we are going to be using ACF, the advanced custom field plugin, so they provide like repeaters. So if you wanted to add more images, then you would certainly use the repeater, but because we are using the basic one, we're not using the pro version, so we're just going to stick to one image. The URL for that website, and then feedback that you had received from the client. So again, this could be a repeater, right? Okay, so we are going to have two pages. We will have a page project.blade.php, which will basically have some information about, something like, your title, my cool projects or whatever, summary, and then it will have the loop of all the projects that you have added in the backend. Great. Then we will have a single project. I believe we will have a look, I think it will be single project. Yeah, that's correct. So we will have a single project blade.php, which will list out each project or the single project that you click on. Like, for example, how you do in the single.php for the post. It's exactly the same thing. Okay. And we will list out all the information about the project itself. Okay, now let's go into the backend, have a look. So because we've got this fourth version of Sage, and it already came with an example custom post type to enable you quickly create some of the posts, to create a custom post type and taxonomies. I mean, personally, if I'm working on something and it would be a real pain, then yes, I can go ahead and use that. But this means that every time you need to create a new custom post type, you will have to repeat yourself. So I would suggest to go ahead and have a look at this from JJ Granger, the post types. It's like a small sort of a plugin which you can bring in, and because we already have a composer, we could very easily just bring this in and have it in our setup file, right? And we can create the custom post type. But what we are going to do, we're going to stick to the most, well, not the most frowned upon, but mostly frowned upon plugin, the custom post type UI. Okay, it's completely up to you. Plugins are very flexible, so in case if you wanted to switch themes and you have certain plugins installed, that means you don't have to copy any code from one theme to another. Again, that's your call, okay? But to make my life easier and to make things a bit more quicker, I'm just going to go ahead and download these two plugins, so custom post type UI. So that will help me to quickly create the custom post type, which in our case is going to be the project. Okay, so we will go ahead and install the custom post type UI. And at the same time, I'm going to look for advanced custom field, right? So that we can create some, and there we are, that's where it is. Oh, just missed it. Okay. So here we go. That's the advanced custom field. Okay. So let's have a look if they are now activated. So behind the scene, I had the WP reset. It's a quite good plugin just to reset everything back to default. Okay, have a look if you haven't. So now that's great. We've got that activated. Let's just activate the advanced custom field as well. Great. So our setup is now there. Okay, so in here we will call this projects, and this will be projects, and singular will be the project itself. Post type description, easily add new project, and you can go through, you know, the different sort of options here. All items will be like all projects. Add new would be add new project. So these are different labels that you see here, you know, when you click on it, and add new and all that. Okay, and yeah, so add new can stay like that, and I believe that will become add new. Edit the project, new project, view project, and I think that should be enough. Search project, because I've done I did it previously. That's why I believe it's a good thing that it has remembered the, you know, different names I have put in. Public queryable, you can set it to false. It's up to you. Showing the UI, absolutely. Showing the nav menu, false. We don't want it to be showing the nav menu. And you could also set that to false if you want to. Okay, showing the REST API, maybe false. It's up to you, right? So go through these different options, and I'm sure that you already are aware of that. However, so showing the menu in here, yes, absolutely. And we will leave the title. So it will support the title. It doesn't have to support the editor. We don't need the featured image there, because we are going to create some custom field. Okay, and I believe that should be it. Maybe support the page attributes for template and stuff. Okay, so if we look here now we've got our projects, and that's the menu item that we wanted to add new. Here you can now add your projects. Screen options. Usually if you can't find something, then make sure that you have a look in your screen options if you have ticked it or not. Okay, let's now come to our custom fields. Let's quickly create some custom fields. So we will create custom fields for project. Okay, let's add a field, and let's have a look what sort of fields we need. So we need a name of company, so we will say name. Great. And this will be text. That's fine. So fill out name for the company or project. Okay, required, yes. Default value, placeholder if you want, i.e. example.com. Okay, great. And then we will close this field. Let's just make another one, and the other one would be case study. So in fact, let's do this. Let's get the smaller one first and the feedback. So we'll just do the URL, and this will be again a text. Okay, or should we call it a link? In fact, we'll just leave it text. That's fine. Okay, so instructions, then insert the link for the project. Okay. Default value, don't care, that will do. Okay, great. And then let's have for the feedback, so you would say like what our customers say about us. You know, you can put anything that you want. We'll put a text area here and insert feedback from client. Okay, required, yes, close the field. Great. Now, let's go ahead and do the case study. Okay, this is going to be WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG or WYSIWYG, some people say. Anyway, okay, so insert case study for project. Okay, make it required, and we just need the visual one. Do we need the full? No, basic should be okay. Okay, show media upload buttons. No, it's fine. Okay, what else do we need? Delivery solution. Okay, let's do that as well. So we will call it delivery solution. It doesn't make sense, but you know, it's fine. Okay, delivery solution. Again, it will be a WYSIWYG editor, so that you can write some text and format it the way you want to. That's going to be basic. We don't have to require that. And conditional logic, no, we don't need that. Close field. Okay, so we've got the delivery solution now. Feedback is done. We'll leave the except out. We don't need that. Finally, we'll do an image. Okay, so I will call this project image, and this is going to be the image field, and insert image for project. Make it required. Image array or image URL. I believe image array should be okay. Okay, and we will do it full size. Okay, great. I believe that should do it. Yeah, so we've got the name, URL for the project, the feedback we might have received, and let's do this. So we'll do the case study, delivery solution, project image. Yeah, feedback will come right at the end. Okay, now we will say that when the post type is equal to project, show all these fields. Okay, and we can go ahead with the seamless. That's fine. We don't need the track backs. We don't need. We will leave the text for now. We don't need the featured image format. That's fine. We don't need that. Author, revisions, comments, discussions. Yeah, just toggle the ones that you want to, really. Okay, so let's publish that. So once that's done, update. Okay, so that's done. If I come here now and I say add new project, and here we go. That's all the fields that we needed. This title, this is mostly just because that once you create, then you can see. I mean, if you didn't have the title and you would go all projects, it wouldn't show up here, and it's very hard. So usually what I used to do was I used to use this title not to put it on the front end, but rather, you know, make it easier for me to see it here and understand what project is it that I need to update or do something, you know. Okay, so let's go ahead and we will just create one. So I am not going to make you watch what I'm doing, but I will create like maybe 4 or 5 projects behind the scene. So once I'm done, then I will see you guys shortly. Right, so I've gone ahead and I've created this 6 projects. Okay, so let's have a look. There you go, Do It Agency, and it's got the case study, delivery solution or solution, URL to it, the image. And I'm hoping that you guys, I just wanted to show you something. Whenever you are uploading any images or anything in the WordPress, just make sure that you put in the alt text, caption. If you don't want to put the caption, that's fine, but the alt text is very important for your SEO purposes and all that stuff, right? So just make sure that you do that. Give it a good title and stuff. I just wanted to point it out in case if you are missing out on these things, because they're quite important, like for your SEO, right? Okay. So we've got now projects. Okay, that's great. Now what we will do, we will basically, if we go back to our plan, so we need to have a page project.blade.php. So the easiest way, right, so we don't have to use the custom template. I mean, from the custom post type UI, you can actually link these things to a custom page, but the easiest way to do that would be, or this is one of the way to do. Let me just remove that duplicates from there. Okay. So what I will do, I'll rely on the template hierarchy. Okay, so I'm gonna get the project, or I would say my awesome, and here I'm just gonna go ahead and put some lorem ipsum because that's much easier. Okay, so if I come back, and that will do. Great. And what do we want? We want the default template. Yeah, that would do. So that way now, if we go ahead and have a look, okay, looks like page ID, have I not set up the permalinks correctly? So if I go ahead, oh yeah, because I had to reset the database of, yeah, I remember now. Okay, that means now if I were to go back and have a quick look, so if I look at my pages, and now if I see my awesome project, okay, so that's the permalink, right? Let's see if I can actually change the link, because that's not the link that I want. Lock document, here we go. So I'm going to call this project, and I believe that's much better. Okay, so now if I look at the page, that's exactly what I wanted. Great. So let's go ahead and start outputting this content the way we would like to, right? So let's go to the editor, and I will basically go ahead, and if I come to the resources file, views, I'll just create a new file, and I'll call this. So the template hierarchy, do you remember? Right, that's what we do. We'll specify that it's a page. We'll specify the slug. So page slug.blade.php. Now, I will extend and it will be the app, and then I will write the section content. That's what we want. Great. And let's see if WordPress is loading this page, because we are going to rely on the template hierarchy, right? So if I go ahead, and yes, it does. Great. So that means that we've got everything that we need, right? What I will do, in fact, that I will go ahead and also create a controller for it. Okay, so if I go ahead and create a new class, and I'm going to call it page projects, is that, yep. So if you look at the name here and add that to the Git repository as well, and I will say extend the Sober controller, and here I will say something random, just to make sure that this controller, using the logic that I talked about in the previous video, that it is all working. Okay, so that should come there. If I go back to the page projects.blade.php and I output something random, we should be able to see the link. So if I come back here, and we do. Great. So in this lesson we configured the post types, custom post type. I created some projects and we used the WordPress template hierarchy, the default one, right? And we created a page for it, and we also created a controller which is mapped correctly, and we can see the data from that controller on the projects page. So in the next lesson, what we will do is that we will style this page and we will bring all the projects and we will create that project page. Okay, so I will see you all in the next lesson.